I'm Katie Noel, and I volunteered at Towne Acres this semester, which is a local elementary school found in Johnson City. It is the oldest elementary school. It was built in 1961. But when I was placed at Towne Acres, I was placed with a kindergarten teacher, Mrs. Howard, and 19 of her students. I was required to work at an elementary school or an after-school program or a library because I'm in the Public Corp Scholarship, which requires me to do literacy, 40 hours of literacy with children. So this is where I end up, and I loved it. I look forward to going, and so I've really enjoyed it, and so I'm excited to tell you all about it. So a little bit of history about Towne Acres. Like I said, it was built in 1951, the oldest elementary school in the Tri-Cities area. It is named after a subdivision it's found in, and so it's named after Towne Acres, the subdivision, which this is really unique because not a lot of elementary schools are found inside subdivisions, but I really like it. It creates more of a community feel. Helps feel like they're not far from home, you know. Most of them can walk or ride their bike to school, which is really cool. It has really unique architecture, the school does. It has a lot of windows and multiple buildings in the school, so instead of it just being one large building, it has like multiple sections, like I think 4 or 5. And one's for like the related arts, one's for like the kindergarten and first grade teachers, one's for the older kids, and one's for like the offices. So there's just like several different buildings throughout the school, which is really unique. The school also doesn't have a lot of turnover since the beginning. I think they've only had 3 or 4 different principals since 1951, which is amazing. You could tell that a lot of people enjoy working there. Not a lot of people want to leave, and they just have a really good staff that enjoys being there. So how the school is funded, of course, is by the government, by the taxes, and another way it's funded is by the PTA, which is run by the moms or the dads, or do the extra funding, and also the Booster Club is very similar to that to help fund the school. What they usually do with their extra funding is they put it towards the kids, of course. The kids get new electronics, new classroom materials, and enhances after-school programs. And so a lot of these electronics are like iPads or the projectors that are more interactive now. A lot of the kindergartners were using the iPads, and they just have like educational games on there, and they listen to music and just different stuff like that. Classroom materials like simple as paper, crayons, you know, everything that you need, other curriculum. So that's what kind of the extra money goes towards, and also the after-school programs, which Towne Acres has a lot of them, like the math club, or just tutoring, or I think they have something Harry Potter, or just like fun stuff, but also educational stuff, which is really cool. I think they have a chess club. So a little bit of Towne Acres core values. The education is mutual responsibility of school, home, and community. That's their very first core value, and I definitely got to see that being there. Mrs. Howard, of course, takes on the responsibility of educating the students while they're at school, but she's also very interactive with the parents at home. She communicates with them very well, sends home notes with them for their parents to read, homework to do, parents to read with their kids. So she definitely interacts with the parents, making sure that education is built at home as well, and also in the community. And I think that even goes to like us who are volunteering. We can definitely help educate these kids and challenge them. and I've definitely got to experience that this semester. Their second core value is education is an ongoing, lifelong process. But this is true, we know this. We're 20 years old and still being educated. We'll probably educate throughout our whole lives, and so Towne Acres also sees that as important for the education to never stop. There's always something we can learn. The school effectively meets community expectations through interaction and communication with parents. I think I kind of touched on that earlier, but there is a great interaction with the parents at Towne Acres. And I think this creates higher expectations for the kids because they not only have to meet those expectations at school, but also it translates to home as well. So I think that's really important. And finally, student learning is enhanced by high standards of behavior and clean and safe learning environment. Mrs. Howard definitely doesn't put up with anything. They respect her, they help her clean the room, and are learning responsibility. And so I think that is also very important because respect, you need that in the world, and also having a clean and safe environment that kids are learning how to produce that themselves, which is important. So that's their core values. A few of the problems with the population that they have, I don't think they have a lot, but their biggest is, I think, their language barrier. So the kids that come in and at home they only speak Spanish or they only speak French or whatever language they speak. At home, when they come to school, you know, everyone's speaking English, and so sometimes that's very hard for them, and it's very hard for them to learn. And at Towne Acres, they only have one translator there, and she's not even able to be there every day. She only comes in a few days a week, and so I think that's their biggest need right now at Towne Acres is translators and people to help these students who are not aren't able to communicate well and learn, you know. So I think language barrier is definitely their biggest population problem. But also the population movement was also mentioned when I was working there, that a lot of students are coming in and out now. More people are moving, so this creates like not stability anymore. They're constantly getting new students, constantly students are leaving, which just makes it kind of difficult for the teachers because they're either having to catch students up or you know, maybe the student's ahead, so she has to do separate things, and it just makes it difficult in the classroom when the population is moving so much. So now to talk about my experience a little bit. And so I would come in on Mondays and Wednesdays, and I'd be there from 8:30 to 11. And so what it kind of looked like, I'd walk in, the students would just be getting done with their first assignment, and so I would either help them finish that assignment, I would start a craft, I would start reading with them. Just depends on that day. Mrs. Howard was really good with like being prepared though with what I was going to do that day. So I feel like my time was used very wisely, and that I felt needed, and so it was a very good experience. But yeah, we'll see some of these pictures in my PowerPoint, but Mrs. Craig is someone who would come in. She works in the office, and she would actually come in and read with them individually and see if they were reading at home, and just kind of help them improve their reading skills. So I admire her for doing that. It wasn't even part of her job description, you know, it's just out of her own heart. The kids were learning their numbers. Just being there a semester, I got to see their improvement from the beginning till the end, which was really neat, and learning their letters and of course how to read. And then I would often do crafts with them depending on the season. We did like November crafts with the very fall, with Thanksgiving, and then at the very end we started doing Christmas, and just different crafts throughout the year, which they enjoyed, and I enjoyed being a part of and helping them through that. I was also there to help teach them respect, teach them to say please, thank you, to raise their hand when they want to speak, to not scream in a classroom, to use their inside voices, to be patient and to respect each other, and yeah, just different things like that. And so that was cool to be a part of too, which they were very well behaved. I didn't have many issues. But it was cool kind of being another leader of the classroom. And then also just like life skills. Kindergarten is very basic. It's like washing hands well, tying your shoe. But I did get to be a part of that. And so it was just awesome. And leaving, they made me a bunch of cards and drew me pictures, which was really cool, and I got to really get to know all of their unique personalities and who they were, and so I really enjoyed being there. But what I kind of learned from this whole process is that volunteering is very important. There's a lot of need, not only in elementary schools and local schools, but just everywhere, you know, watching everyone's videos. There is a lot of need, and I think volunteering is very important, and that's something I became very aware of during this semester. So yeah, that's my PowerPoint, that's my experience. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'm excited to hear all of your experience.